If you notice these signs, keep going. You're on the right path. There comes a point in every man's life where the world grows quieter, not because the noise has stopped, but because something inside you has changed. The people who used to validate you are gone. The praise that once fueled your steps now feels hollow. And the applause? It fades, just like the illusion it always was. And still you rise, still you walk, still you choose silence over approval. Why? Because now you're walking the path of truth, not comfort. Seneca once wrote, "If a man knows not which port he sails, no wind is favorable. But when you do know where you're going, the storms become teachers, the resistance becomes fuel, and the silence, it becomes sacred." We don't measure progress by ease, we measure it by endurance. So if you find yourself doubting, breaking, falling into loneliness, that's your sign. You're shedding your former skin. You're outgrowing the version of you that once begged for acceptance. Marcus Aurelius said, "Just that you do the right thing. The rest doesn't matter." You'll notice people pulling away. You'll feel misunderstood. But we don't bend for comfort. We bend only for the weight of truth. There is no crowd on this path, only shadows, only echoes, and the unshakable resolve of those who know the right road is often the loneliest one. But if you still wake up and keep going, if your heart still chooses discipline over indulgence, principles over popularity, depth over distraction, then listen closely. You are not lost. You are becoming. You start feeling disconnected from superficial pleasures. There comes a subtle, almost painful shift, where the things that once thrilled you now feel meaningless. The cheap dopamine hits, the hollow victories, the endless distractions, they no longer feed you, they drain you. You begin to crave depth instead of noise, stillness instead of chaos. You no longer chase validation from the outside because you've begun the war within. Epictetus warned, "It is impossible for a man to learn what he thinks he already knows." And so we must unlearn. Unlearn the lies we've been fed about what success looks like, about what pleasure should feel like, about what it means to truly live. When you begin shedding superficiality, when entertainment starts to bore you, and comfort begins to disgust you, you are not broken, you are being purified. That's not emptiness you feel, it's space, space for something greater to emerge. You begin to attract silence, not attention. There comes a point on the right path where noise fades. You stop craving recognition. You stop explaining yourself to those who don't understand your silence, because you've realized silence is not absence, it is mastery. The world praises the loud, but the Stoic man knows the storm that moves in stillness. Seneca once wrote, "Associate with people who are likely to improve you. Welcome those whom you are capable of improving. As you walk forward, you'll find fewer people around you, not because you're losing them, but because you're finally walking in a direction they cannot follow." It's not loneliness, it's elevation. If you feel the distance growing between you and the world, don't turn back. Keep walking. You're not becoming cold. You're becoming clear. You no longer react. You reflect. There's a subtle but profound shift that happens on the right path. You stop reacting to everything, not because you've become numb, but because you've become wise. When someone disrespects you, you don't rush to defend your pride. When life throws chaos at your doorstep, you don't flinch. You pause, you breathe, you observe. Because you've learned that power doesn't scream, it watches. Epictetus said, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." This is when you know you're no longer a slave to impulse, you're governed by reason. And in that moment, when you can stare at the storm and remain unmoved, that's not weakness, that's control. That's fortitude. That's the sign you are becoming untouchable. So if the world feels heavy, if you're walking alone, misunderstood, and doubted, good. That means you're becoming. Now is not the time to turn back. Now is the time to turn inward and rise. We are not here to be liked. We are here to be unshakable.